to Perfection is Fake podcast.
This is episode 7, part 4. And today's guest is
Ashley.
So Ashley, are you aware that this month's topic is generosity?
Sure.
Okay. So could you tell us a little bit about a pretty generous situation that you've been in recently? Like to someone, or someone's been generous to you?
I bought
That cheesecake? The flan?
My friend.
Because it has it consists of both. Yeah.
My friend Irving bought me flan like 5 minutes ago.
Where's it at?
Lemon
The
yellow.
lemon place.
Did they sell the empanadas?
It's because the flan is killer. I've never tasted
Where's
flan like
it
it.
at?
It's like right across the
No,
street.
where's the flan?
Oh.
Bro was looking. Does the empanadas
They're like small. Just see them fly. They're small, but they're like.
You should have told me you were going to.
Are you hungry?
I did tell you, no?
No, you just said you were getting food.
Oh, my fault.
I know you're getting food.
Sorry.
My fault, yeah.
Give me some money.
Maybe after.
Has there been a moment where you've experienced generosity that, like, as a younger, I guess you could say, and it kind of just stuck with you from a complete stranger?
Like a while ago?
Like,
I mean, whenever, like throughout your whole life.
When I was like 12, I was buying something, and I was like $1 short, and then some lady behind me just came up behind me and paid for like everything, and it was like $30.
30?
That's nice.
She balling.
What'd she say?
Never had that happen to me.
I don't remember. That was it.
Wait, were you by yourself or with your, like, parents?
I was by myself. My mom was my mom was getting something in a different area.
At 5 years old?
12.
12.
Yeah, she's gonna be buying herself something.
Yeah. I just magically have $29.
She's gonna be buying
when I was like
what's it
5.
called? I don't know.
I was like, at 5 years old. I was crying when I was away from my parents.
I got lost at Walmart at like 5.
For real?
My parents left me
This
everywhere.
This
so.
lady, she helped me find my parents. She like walked me.
They would leave me at my tia's house.
I didn't know stranger danger. I didn't know stranger danger yet, and like I remember this vividly. I was by the food section, by like the cold food, and I was just standing. I was like, "Mom," with my mom, and she helped me. It was really nice.
Yeah.
Fun story.
I would always get left at my tia's house.
Left at your tía, so like completely left, like.
Yeah, like I'd be there for like 2 hours, and then my cousin's mom would walk in and she'd be like, ¿Qué estás haciendo aquí, mijo? Ya se fueron tus papás hace 2 horas, and I'd be like, what?
After 2 hours?
Yeah, and like they would call me. Sometimes, most of the time, they would just take me home because I mean they live like right across the street. But like,
Oh.
yeah.
Right, just walking across the
Not like. It's just like I don't know how to explain it, but like yeah.
What's going on?
No, because there's a big road in between, but like once you cross it, like my house is over there. It's not far from there. It's just like literally down the street.
I wouldn't cross that street.
What would you say is the most generous thing you've done for someone else?
I lent my sister $400.
Oh.
It's a good amount of money.
Mr. B.
I could never.
And a new Tesla.
No, it was last summer, in August of 2024. Is it 25? It's 2025, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. In August, she and her friend were planning on going to Lollapalooza, and she never bought her ticket, but she had already paid for her airplane and her hotel, and she paid like $1,000 for this stuff, and then she needed the money for the ticket. And she couldn't find a way to get the ticket, and so she wasn't gonna go. But I knew she really wanted to go, so I gave her the money.
Did you give her the money or loan her the money?
I loaned her the money. How about that? Yeah, but she took like 7 months to. Well, she just finished paying me back like this month, and she didn't pay me all of it. I gave her some.
Did you do what do you call it? Interest rate?
No.
No, compounding interest.
No.
The opposite of interest.
Yeah.
It's like went down.
Yeah, I didn't make her pay me everything. It was okay.
I wish dealerships were like that.
Okay.
Yeah, they're like, the last couple thousand is
It's on the side. It's on the house.
Yeah.
but she has a job too, and she makes a lot of money.
Oh,
So-
okay. Where's the
So
money?
she got-
Not
Her
enough.
job.
Yeah,
She's a manager at Dairy Queen.
See, I was thinking of applying her a long time ago.
Me too. I didn't get a call back.
Oh, I remember when y'all both applied.
Yeah.
Y'all should have told me. I would have. Sorry.
She was like, then
We're getting
And the craziest part was that it was that exact Dairy Queen that your sister's a manager at.
That's funny.
It's because you didn't tell me anything. I didn't know that you had applied until
Then we
after you
ended up
already
at
applied.
that
Is it the one
trash
on
job.
155?
Yeah.
Is it the one on 155?
No.
No, it's the one out in the Cumberland Mall.
Mm.
Yeah. But that trash job was so fun.
No, it was not.
Yeah. Didn't you make so much money there, Juan?
No,
Literally, all the money that you made that day would go like into the trash as soon as you went to buy dinner. As soon as you like.
Genuinely sad.
No, as soon as you're on your break, because I mean, you're working like a long shift, right?
It was
You're
6
obviously
hours.
hungry, you know.
And then with your 10%,
No, this is the thing
That
that I didn't.
has to come out of your next
Yeah,
paycheck.
like
by the
that's what I
way.
didn't like. Like you couldn't use your own card and your discount. Like if you wanted your discount, you had to use your card that you used to clock in and out, and it'd come out of your paycheck. And my paycheck was already like $40. Literally, like 40%. So like a 13.
The highest paycheck I made there was $360 for 2 weeks, and I worked like
And that's because
40 hours.
Yeah, that's
over
because they
2
gave her more hours.
Yeah, they
Like,
gave me a lot of hours.
They wouldn't give us more than 16.
Yeah, I think
Why is
We-
he so on the leave?
Yeah.
every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks.
'Cause we
2
needed
weeks,
money.
16 hours. Crazy.
Yeah.
Y'all standards.
It was like
I
I just figured it out.
The most I got paid was like 160,
Yeah, the most-
and that was 4
Really?
days
The most
worth
I
of
got
work.
paid was like
So
140.
8 days
I
in
got paid
total.
about 200 every 2 weeks.
No, the most I got was like 140.
Yeah.
And that was only like once. Ever since that day, it was like 70,
went down,
60, 80.
What was it?
No, for real, because why did paychecks
8.
go down?
Yeah.
Okay, but they actually made more than me. Can I point that out? They got started at 8. I got started at 7:50, and I started before them.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah,
that's
you were
the-
so close
This
to
is the
minimum
manager
wage.
was
Crazy.
like related to her, so she would give her
Actually,
more
no,
hours.
she didn't know I was related to her until after
Wait, when
y'all,
did you-
like
when did
way
you start
after y'all got
working?
hired.
When did you start working there?
I started working there
I think
January 2 years ago.
I think I started working in October.
Yeah, I worked from April to
No.
April, a year.
Yeah, that you worked there before. You
Freshman
did not
year?
work there.
Well, it's because you were
Sophomore.
there.
Sophomore?
Didn't you
She said
start
2
in
years.
March?
It was April, from April to April. I remember that.
And I worked from January to January.
Yeah, because I started working October and then I quit April because that's when you quit too.
Anyways, Ashley.
Okay, so
Oh yeah.
how has generosity like affected your day-to-day life? Do you like you said, you had that one encounter. Like, has it affected your life in any other way?
I mean, I try to be generous when like necessary. You know, I don't like I know I make a decent amount of money for my age and the demographic at our school. So I know like if I'm going out to eat with my friends and I know my friends they don't make a lot or they don't have a job, I'll always offer to pay for them because it's like, you know, I'd want somebody to do that for me, so I don't mind doing that for them. And also because like I feel like it's not really putting me out to pay like an extra $10, you know, every here and there. So I feel like being generous is just something I feel like it's very easy to do.
Right. Okay. It's a nice response. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
Have
$10
you-
isn't gonna do too much.
Have you experienced doing tithes?
Yeah. What I used to do was whenever when I got my paycheck and I'd put money into my savings, I didn't trust myself with my own savings, so I'd like send money to my dad and he'd have a separate savings account for me, and then I'd tell him just take 10% of whatever I sent him. So if it was like 200, he'd take out like 20, or if I sent him like 500, he'd take out like 50, just like whatever I sent him, he'd take out tithes. And then like now I just open my own savings in my own bank, so I'll just since my parents are my pastors, I don't usually do tithes, I just buy groceries. I feel like that makes up.
Yeah, because I had a friend, so I was like, I know that your family was like, you know, your dad's a pastor. So I was like, I wonder how that works if the children have to pay tithes.
They don't make me. They act like my dad was like, if you want to, you can. If you don't, you don't. My mom, she's like, you should, but like, I'm not gonna make you, so I don't mind. But you know, now I just buy groceries.
How do you think it feels for both the person who's receiving and the person who's giving?
I think for the person who's receiving, it's like, it's like a thankfulness. You know, like, oh wow, this person's like going out of their way to help me. It's like, wow, thank you so much. Like a thankfulness, like a happiness kind of feeling. And for a person giving, I think it'd be like a satisfaction and like happiness. Like I'm happy I got to help out somebody else, when they needed it.
So have you experienced a moment in which someone like was generous, but only because they wanted like that satisfaction in return? Like they were doing it for the wrong reasons, kind of.
Yeah.
Would you give me like an example?
My sister. For Christmas, she asked me what I wanted for Christmas, right? And I was joking, right? I jokingly said, "Oh yeah, I want a TV." It was a joke because I was gonna buy myself a TV anyway. She's like, "Oh yeah, I'll buy you a TV." I was like, "Really? For what?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, just you have to give me money, And so it's like she bought the TV for Christmas, and then I gave her money for Christmas.
So you paid her for the TV?
Essentially, yeah.
So it wasn't a gift?
Did she pay more than the TV was?
And maybe like 20 more, 20, 40.
Oh
You could have just
man.
bought the TV
Wait,
yourself.
so she was 20 short of the Lollapalooza ticket, right?
20 short.
She was 400
She was
short.
400 short.
That's a crazy amount of money.
What did she pay?
300.
Still missing $100.
Oh, you know the grudges I would hold.
She-
The grudges I would hold.
Oh, she's my sister though, She's my
Yeah,
sister.
vice versa. You're her sister.
I don't like borrowing money from people. No, I feel like you put yourself in debt too easily. with
Yeah, I
that.
feel like
I'll take
that
what
is
I can get.
scary. It is.
Debt
I
is.
mean, I'll take free food though. I'll take free food.
I know you'll take free food.
I'll take free food.
My mom-
I'm
my-
study.
My own mother.
Maybe when we study for the practical tomorrow.
Lila said her own mother.
Repeat it because the mic hurt me. Now you sound so stupid. No, my own mom is holding me in debt right now, $450.
Why?
Girl.
So you need
Car
them.
insurance?
So you need them shifts, huh?
You need them.
Yeah, you need them shifts.
Where do you work at again?
What?
Where do you work at again?
3 pounds?
How much you made?
$7.25 an hour.
Yeah, you need to
How
you need
old
to
are
get out
you?
of
16? Girl, come work with
Feel
me.
like
I'll put in
so-
a good word for you. They'll start you off at least 13, maybe 13.50.
Wow, that's bank, girl.
Yeah,
but
like
also,
7.25.
I'm going to Starbucks today, and they get paid
Right,
like
for her
15, like 15 an hour.
Okay,
We'll
and then
see.
But their hours are
That's
tremendous.
right by my house.
Yeah.
And Starbucks is really difficult. They're extremely selective.
yeah.
It's
Or-
okay though. I'm sure Lila.
Yeah, we
Or
believe in you.
Dick's, they pay you 20. Who? Dick's, they pay you 20.
But you have to be 18.
Yeah. And it's
You
hard
can
to
try
get in there.
Chipotle.
Yeah.
I knew they
Chipotle.
were hiring.
They pay you
Chipotle's
14.
hiring. Whataburger's hiring.
Yeah, water.
12.
Whataburger needs
if,
people
if,
desperately.
If you want to work at Whataburger, one of our old managers worked there. I could
Which
probably put in
one?
a good word. Miss Bernicia?
She works at Whataburger?
Yeah.
You should try Walmart.
Oh, yeah.
I told you.
Yeah, you told me. Yeah, I remember now.
And
Speaking of, have you ever given up an opportunity for someone else?
I know I have. I just can't remember what it was.
Or if you have done both, like to a stranger or to like a friend, most likely.
To a friend.
Now, what about friend or family?
Friend.
What about stranger?
It depends on the stranger.
Like old or young?
okay,
Like, no, like, person who likes substances.
Unstable,
Likes-
yeah.
Yes, an
unstable.
unstable person who likes substances, and they're asking me for like $100, and they're just gonna use it for substances. That's like a,
Yeah, we talked about that before. Where like we'd rather just buy them food or
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
instead of giving them money
I
because
think
You know where the money
yeah
goes.
you know what
I
they're
think I
gonna
remember
do.
seeing a video of someone doing that, and the homeless person got mad.
Yeah. Or I've seen those like, what do you call those social experiments where they'll have like a bottle of tequila or like like
That's
food,
such a
a
mean thing
burger,
to do.
and they'll be like, give me the tequila.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
What,
It's so mean because you expose
my-
them.
Are you serious right now? They're like, are you really gonna give me groceries for money?
Yeah, my uncle one time he had donuts and there was a homeless dude and he tried to give him donuts and he said no, I want money. But he had a sign that said homeless.
Food or
yeah, food or
water.
water. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
Usually it's
That's
So on that
crazy.
topic, actually, have you ever had somebody take advantage of your generosity?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about that, or do you prefer not to share?
I'll be vague. You know, like sometimes when you're like, when you're like generous, sometimes people expect you to be generous like all the time.
Yeah.
So like sometimes I always have money, but I prefer not to dip into the money I always have. Like savings. That's supposed to be like no.
Yeah.
And so I leave myself like a set amount, but then someone will be like, hey, can you like come in? Will you send me some money for this? Hey, will you send me money for this? Hey, will you send me money for this? Like, and it's like, I'm not somebody's parent, so I don't want to be responsible for sending them money all the time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, I'm okay buying you food if I'm with you, like if I'm also buying myself food, but like if I'm not with somebody and they're just asking me for money constantly, $20 here, $20 there, DoorDash me some food, like it's
that's
too much.
crazy.
It'll start adding up.
Yeah. DoorDash adds up really quick.
Yeah.
And
Taxing.
yeah, for real. Do you think that you like sometimes find yourself sitting by and letting it happen, or do you catch it pretty quick?
Oh, I used to sit by and let it happen very often. Okay, yeah, I still sometimes do let it sit by and happen because I feel bad. Like, you know, especially if I know the person's going through a harder time than I am, and it's like, okay, you know, I can help. But sometimes I just, you know, ignore the text, you know, leave it undelivered or unread. Accidentally, you know, don't mean to do it on purpose. But
Right. Me too.
yeah. But
Sorry, guys.
I don't know. I always feel bad, like just leaving people, you know, like saying no. So sometimes I don't. But I've been learning to say no more if it's something I actually
That's
should
good.
say no to.
Yeah, that's healthy.
Yeah.
Because
Setting up
sometimes
boundaries.
you gotta watch out for yourself.
Because some people cling on to like others' generosity and like they think they'll have it for a long period of time. It's just like no. Maybe it was just a one-time thing. Maybe it was like every once in a while. It's not like I'm not your personal bank. You know.
Yeah.
It's a sensitive topic because you also don't want to say no. You don't want to be rude if someone genuinely needs it. But you know, at the same time, you can't just let someone take advantage of you, especially when it comes to money.
Yeah, but then they'll hit you with that, oh, I'm sick, I'm in the hospital.
Oh.
But then,
Whoa.
y'all never got,
No. That happens.
My friends don't be like
Are your friends in the hospital?
no, it's only,
Hospital bills are expensive.
yeah. It's only one friend, and it's more so like, you know, I'm like feeling like really sick right now, and this is happening with my family, and so can you buy me food? Or can you DoorDash me food? Sorry.
It takes people who have like the audacity to like ask for food constantly.
Yeah, especially that.
Constantly, like
yeah, that's crazy.
It's different when it's like something small. It's like, hey, like give me a couple cents or like give me $1. Like maybe like.
Eventually, they'll get exploded.
Yeah. Personally, I would set my boundary there. I'd be like, hey,
Yeah.
you're gonna stop sucking the life out of me, or sucking the life out of my bank account. We're not gonna be friends.
Yeah.
It's also easier said than done because if you've been so generous for so long, it's pretty hard to like entirely change your lifestyle.
That's true.
Speaking of, this is kind of a question for all you guys. Have you ever helped a homeless person?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got trouble
You share
for it.
experiences?
I got trouble for it.
What do you mean?
Okay,
So, like,
go ahead, sorry.
you want to explain or?
Because I
Yeah.
gave them the 20 because I was not talking to them, but it was like all my siblings were in the car, and then this dude came up. He had a sign that said he was blind. If he came up to the car, now I think about it now. If he came up to the car, I don't think he was blind. I don't think he was blind. And
The
then,
window. He hands him the window.
and then he grabs the all my siblings were all young.
My senses, you know, they've gotten better.
I see that changing. I mean,
all my siblings, we were all young, so we felt bad. And they're like, Daniel, you got 20, right? Like, no, that's all he has. I gave him the 20. My dad comes back from getting the pizza. He's like, huh?
say, man, I spent that 20 at your pocket.
He's like, I spilled that alcohol on that dude. I used that for nothing good.
Oh, so your dad got onto you?
Yeah. Because he smelled like alcohol.
Oh, that's
I mean, at least you gave it to him with good intention.
Yeah.
He's like, good job, son. You inherited his addiction. Juan?
Your turn.
Yeah, I have. Especially in Mexico, because I don't know what in Mexico there's a lot of, homeless people, and there's, in Mexico it's pretty easy it's pretty easy to tell who needs it and who doesn't.
Yeah.
There's like people that are, on the streets with their kids.
Or people who are like they start making their own businesses.
They'll start selling
Hustles.
stuff. Yeah. So yeah, I have.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that, but yeah, absolutely.
That
For
made
my
me really sad.
my experience is that like whenever I go to like Mexico, like Cancun, you always see like a native, and they're like really like burnt, and then they have like the long hats, and they're carrying like
Oh, they're
like
dry.
full,
They're
like,
also-
40 pounds
Yeah.
worth of like bracelets and like homemade little, like a bunch of little things, and then whenever we walk around, like when it's usually like on the last few days of like Cancun, we walk around like the whole like kind of like area that we're in, yeah, or not really plaza, but it's just like we walk around like the whole like area. It'll probably take us like 3 hours, like an hour and a half back to the hotel. And then we always like prioritize buying from like the ladies that are like sitting down like on the road or on sidewalk with like a mat out. We always prioritize them over like a little store, like a little convenience store. We always make sure we buy from them, and I mean it's cheap.
Help
Like
out the small businesses.
I know, but they're good though. Like
Yeah.
I got a hot dog, and they basically they modified them hot dogs. You fit 2 weenies in there. They put beans and stuff on it. But that's the buzz thing. Five.
Glizzy dogs are
Alrighty. What about you?
Okay. When I was in Houston with my mom, we were grocery shopping for my sister because she lives down there for college, and I had bought myself because I absolutely like freaking love bagels, and they had them for like really cheap at the place that we went to, and so I had bought like 4 so I could freeze like 3 of them and keep them like good. And then I went outside. There was this homeless person, and he didn't have any food, and he looked really hungry. And so I gave him 3 of the bagels.
Oh, that's nice of you. And you really wanted him to.
Yeah, it's okay. It's just food.
How old were you?
15.
Okay, so
Not too long ago.
a few years ago.
Adriana?
You?
So, where to start? I'm kidding. No, I feel really bad for homeless people. I've donated toys, I've bought food, clothes. And I get that from my dad because my dad, he grew up in Mexico. He knows what it's like to start from nothing, have nothing. He sees those kids. He always reminds us of that, So yeah, we've bought food for kids, and just like Irving said, he makes it like he
Prioritizes it.
yeah, to buy stuff from small little businesses or people who are playing the drums and instruments, because to them that's a last resort. They're out there because that's their last resort.
Yeah, because they can't do anything else.
Yeah. He gives them money. Us too. He talks to us about it. So, yeah.
Lila?
Okay.
That being the topic is actually wild.
No. It was one.
So we don't donate money.
Okay, so basically, I feel bad for this because my mom made this whole big deal out of it, even though it was nothing. But those homeless people who just walk on the side of the streets,
Just chilling, minding their own business?
No sign, yeah. And my mom was like, I feel like I need to turn around and go get her. And so we made this heroic venture out, and we turned around and we drove by her, and we were or my mom was like, do you need a ride? And she was like, actually, yeah, I'll take a ride. And so she gets in the back, and the whole ride there, we are silent. It is silent. Also, she wanted to drive, that area where it's it's on the loop, and it's by that Dairy Queen and the Seven Brew and Texas Roadhouse. She wanted to go in the parking lot over there by all those stores, the old pottery place, She wanted to go over there in the parking lot. So I was just okay, you know what, okay, whatever. She's just wanting to venture out. So the whole ride, we were just silent. We get there, she gets out the car. Mind you, she's disabled. So, it made sense why my mom wanted to help her. And then she gets out the car, we drive away. My mom makes a phone call to her boyfriend, and she's like, we should have not done that. She was sitting right behind Lila. She could have done something bad to her. And I was like, Mom, like, seriously, it was not that bad. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's really my only experience with homeless people.
I was gonna say, unfortunately, my family is like very skeptical. So I think it's called hitchhiking. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So when the people do that, I feel so bad because I'm the type to like stop, you know, and they'll be like, "What if they have a knife?" You know, or something like that. You gotta be careful.
Don't worry, I'm not.
You put them through a metal detector. Then you go.
Then you can come to me.
Pull it out of the trunk. What do you want to say?
Sorry, can't come in.
Is my brace? No.
It's my hip implant. Yeah,
I'm gonna get one set up.
I'm gonna just pull it
Hey guys, fun story. So we were on our way to Mexico one time, and my dad saw this lady on the side of the road. He drove. He didn't stop by because there's like the stories onto where like you don't stop if you see people in white.
Especially because in
Yeah.
Mexico it's dangerous.
Yeah, they don't stop.
tricky.
Yeah, and he was like, no, she kind of scary. And he was
Yeah,
like,
so-
I would want to help people, but sometimes you don't stop. You keep going.
Times get desperate, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our pastor even mentioned that about having to be careful. He's like, I want you to experience being like generous to people, right? But not oblivious. Like definitely still be, I'm not saying go pick up a stranger and put them in your car kind of thing. Because you never know. Like unfortunately you won't always be rewarded for doing the good thing.
Especially when you have kids in the car.
Especially
You gotta be careful.
kids.
Yeah.
I just caught that part.
You could have rolled out that car.
She's still
You got lucky.
Oh, here we go again.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Cover the mic seat ears.
What?
I feel like, kind of what Juan said though, I feel like I practice the generosity a lot when it comes to going to Mexico. Just because I make it a tradition for my family, not necessarily just me, I would say. But once we pass Laredo, which is like, I guess the borderline to go to Mexico,
It gets bad.
it gets really bad.
Yeah.
Like really bad. So we always, every single time we stop, because it's a long drive to our hometown, we do stop for gas and stuff. And at gas stations, people are always quick to clean your car, put something, to clean your car. And so they always we always look around for pesos to give them to like pay for it. Or when we stop somewhere because we're hungry, it's like 3 a.m. There's always like a lady at the side, trying to fall asleep with like this thin jacket, So we usually, if we don't have any more money, we'll just donate a color room. We're always ending up paying for another one. Or when we get to our hometown, sorry, I like breathed and like kept going. I was like, when we get to our hometown, that's when we have everything there at the house. So we just give it out if we know we have it. But we don't give out like TVs or stuff like that. It's just kind of like literally, right? And then like the one I shared on last podcast, when it comes to children, we try to give toys because I feel like we've seen it happen too when they're like sad, yeah, they're grateful for food, so when we're able to give them food, that's good too. But a toy, it keeps them going. Something to keep them. Like with the
They'll
happiest
remember
thing.
that.
Yeah,
They'll
they
remember
do.
that. They do.
And they keep it. They take care of their things.
It makes them so happy.
Yeah, because my grandpa was talking about how when he was younger, he played with rocks, as cars, toy cars. And so the shape of them would be like, oh, you have a bus or like a Lamborghini kind of thing, So I think that's really sweet to be like, you actually give them toy cars. And one thing that I've made a tradition is unfortunately I don't do it every single time because sometimes I'm just so busy. But I'll buy the Hot Wheels, that come in packs. And if I see a young little boy, then that's what I'll give it to. When we go somewhere, I'll slide it to him because a lot of them do fight, unfortunately. If they see it, then they're like, dámelo,
Yeah.
And it does suck, but it is, I don't know, it's a warm feeling to know you've helped a child.
Yeah, and then also in Mexico, a little is a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, so they can buy a lot with it, and it means a lot to them because
10 pesos is practically a meal in some places. And 10 pesos is half a dollar?
Yeah, I
it's,
think so.
No,
Wow.
17.
It's
The currency's
less.
19, isn't it? 17.
17, 18
Yeah,
now.
17,
It's crazy. It dropped from
I thought it was
20.
20.
It was all it stayed at a steady
It's dropping
20.
in 1917. At least for where my dad's from. It's in Chihuahua. It's at 19.
Ours is 16 right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
because
last summer it was 16.
Yeah, it dropped.
We went
bad.
last year and it was
I think the highest has been was 20.
2 for us. 22.
But about
Those
that,
times were good.
sometimes instead of like pesos, when they clean the cars and stuff, and when my dad doesn't have money, like pesos, Mexican money on him, he'll give like dollars out because that means a lot to them. And they'll just kind of stare at it, and now they like because it means more to them than it does. And the toys too. My dad told me he would like look at their faces light up when you give them those toys. He's like, they're gonna remember that because they don't have toys. Up in the mountains, in the sierras, they're not gonna remember that. Like those kids, they don't live near restaurants. They don't live near like anything. It's just
Anywhere
dirt
to
and
get
huts out
toys,
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nowhere to get toys. It's
They don't
just
even
church
get,
and
like,
home. Yeah.
I feel like what's fortunate for like Mexicans is that they're able to see that because when you go to your hometown, I feel like a lot of cultural places are really poor or they're in poverty or something. Have you ever been somewhere that you've experienced poverty?
California.
Oh, really?
I bet, yeah.
What did it look like?
It was like really like broken down. You'd see like a lot of homeless people on the street.
Cost of living in California is crazy.
Yeah, like their minimum wage over there is 15.
That's why a lot of people from California come to Texas and they buy like huge houses.
Isn't gas like what, $4?
Yeah, it's
$5
a huge
over there?
difference too.
Probably
Yeah.
6 or s- you
Yeah.
can get it from 6
I remember
or
at one
7
time, at one point it was like 15.
Inflation.
At one point it was $15 a
Like,
gallon.
You to buy a house over there, like to buy just like a simple house, you could spend basically $1 million just to buy like just a regular house that
Like
would
a-
cost
like a part-
100,000 here.
Like an apartment.
Like,
Probably like an apartment would cost like the same as a house over there. It's like in New York too. You go to apartments, so like the same thing.
I know that in Australia they have a really bad like housing market as well. Like it's horrible. $1 million houses are terrible.
What's the lowest living cost like in the U.S.?
Texas is up there.
I think Texas is pretty low.
Really?
Yeah.
Like U.S. territories?
Because at one point Texas was its own country, I believe.
What about like
Yeah,
Costa Rica?
Six Flags over Texas.
Isn't that like vacation place?
I mean,
Wouldn't
Yeah,
it depends on which
but
part
it
you
is
go
a-
Wouldn't
to.
Is
prices
it in
be
the
higher?
U.S.?
Yeah,
Huh?
It's U.S. territory.
yeah. Costa Rica's U.S. territory.
Or
That's why you don't need
So we have 51 states?
to go there.
No,
No.
territories aren't states.
I'm kidding.
Like, bro,
I'm
what
kidding. I'm kidding.
We're never have this conversation.
that poor guy.
Let me pull out my map.
I've been
I still don't.
Terrell.
I don't know. He says he has a photographic memory, but I still can't. Like I don't
don't
see
believe
it.
it.
I'm just like, what photographs you be looking at? Because it ain't the right ones.
Daniel's over there with his head down. Crying. I see a tear. Do any of y'all see a tear?
Oh, so I know something I was thinking about the whole time we were talking about generosity. Is that like I feel like I've lost my wallet like 3 times, and I've dropped my card like 5, and then like it's always some stranger's like, hey, you dropped your card, or something like that. Like, has that happened to you?
Yeah.
You
What do you mean, like I've lost my card?
like lost your like money, like your wallet, or like your ID, or like something really important, and then had some stranger give it to you, or like a friend that like he was like, hey, you lost that.
No. I mean, I did lose my card, but I never found it. I just ordered a new one after like 5 months. I normally don't lose my money, and when I do, people keep it. I've received other people's wallets though. Not like that. Like, at your job, when somebody leaves a wallet behind, they'll like come up and they'll give you the wallet, and so you have to like, yeah. I've gotten that a few times. I actually found some dude I knew from like 5th grade's wallet, and his mom taught at Legacy, and so I gave it. I texted some girl that. I found her number in my phone, and I texted her. I was like, hey, this guy left his wallet at Kane's.
You literally saved a life.
Oh yeah, literally.
Then she lived like up the street from me too, so I just like went and gave it to her, and she gave it to his mom the next day at school.
You know what? I experienced something the exact opposite. Because at the place I work, I clocked in, the phone starts ringing. As soon as I get there, I'm like, great way to start off the shift. So I pick up the phone, it's some Australian guy. Hello, love. Did you see some money I dropped? And I was like, no, sir, no, I didn't. And so I go and talk to the server, and I was like, hey, this guy's on the phone, and he dropped some money. And he goes, oh, I know what guy you're talking about. He was Australian. I was like, yeah. And he goes and looks. There was no money. So I was like, I'm sorry, there was no money. And he's like, that's all right. And so, whatever. We go on. I find out he dropped $700 on the floor.
And he said it's all right.
Yes.
She hung up and started sobbing.
Would you woke up?
He started looking.
Wait, have y'all seen that show, The Neighborhood?
No.
Oh, never mind.
Just kidding.
I had something like that happen to me the other day though, but it wasn't like
You
that.
lost $700?
I hope not.
No, I
I
thought
found some.
She's like, if you think you know where you dropped it, just let me know. I'll look for you.
really funny. I was at the mall the other day and my cup broke like from the bottom like this. It broke like this. I'm walking here, my Chick-fil-A in my hand. It drops. It fell, and I dropped my bag, my Chick-fil-A bag because like. That's what you do because I was shocked. I just stood there, kind of watched it. I had a bad week. I was just like, oh, okay, well, that's my week. That's how it ends. I just left. It spilled all over my stuff. Instead of like, there was a group of guys, a group of people there. They picked up my bag and like put it off to the side so like my food didn't soak in the water because it would have soaked it. The food would have gone bad, but it didn't. And so I got my Chick-fil-A and
Period.
They were nice enough to pick it up.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that, you know.
Well, is there someone that you look up to that's generous?
My dad.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really look up to him. He's like really short, so.
You look. Well, no, I can't say you look down on it.
No, but I don't know. I guess like since my parents like started the church or something, you know, it takes like a lot of money to own or rent a whole separate building and then still like pay off our house, you know. And then still they always like for church, my dad, he'll always like make food, and he like this last Sunday he made lasagna for everyone, and then he brought it up to the church for them. And he's always like giving, I guess. I mean, I guess it's like his job, but like he doesn't have to, you know. I think it's like really nice. He's always like really generous.
Yeah, that's where you get it from.
Yeah, like whenever I was younger, for tithes, I would always like I'd always ask him for $1, and he'd always give me $1, even if he didn't really like have $1. Like he'd always like have $1 aside just for me, so I could go like put it up there in the bin, and then come back like every single Sunday. And he'd always like, and when I'd ask for money, even if he like didn't really have it, he'd always like, you know, give me money if I needed it. You know?
Yeah.
That's nice. That's very nice.
That's real. My dad is kind of the same way, because like he's in a really rough spot because he pays child support and he lost his job, so he's not making as much as money as he used to. And the other day I was like, Dad, just please for my birthday, I need a new phone. Mine is like breaking, it's not working anymore. And I honestly asked for it, but I didn't expect it, you know. And the other day I walk into the kitchen and he's like, hey, do you want to see your birthday gift? My birthday's in September, so I'm like, yeah, I want to see my birthday gift. And he just pulls up a brand new phone, and I'm like, what? And I was so happy because it was like brand new, and he does not have the money for that.
And they make it happen.
Yeah, he just made it happen for me because he knew I asked for it. So yeah, he's the best.
That's sweet.
And then my mom told me in debt, so there's that.
Told you what?
Holding me in debt.
Oh, right.
That's so real. Don't your parents like, you know, if you buy something for your parents, they're like, I'll pay you back. And then like when it comes time for them to pay you back, they'll ever be like, oh well, I fed you and I like pay for everything.
I wiped your butt when you were a baby.
Yeah, like holding anything and everything over you. Like be like, Mama, I just bought you like so much like money worth of stuff, and you told me you're gonna pay me back at the beginning. She'd be like, oh yeah, but you know, I birthed you.
Right. Like, I didn't ask for that.
You wouldn't be able to give me money.
You're here because of me, and I can take you out.
My mom.
Yes. Have your parents ever said that to you?
Yes.
I brought you into this world. I'm gonna take you
I
out
asked
too.
my mom for a ticket out, and she started laughing. She was like, I'm not doing that. I was like, okay, Mom.
Yeah, I don't
A
know.
little odd like that.
I feel like just generosity. I feel like I would forever be indebted to my parents for like just all the generosity, like how generous they were. Like I feel like there's so much stuff that like I feel like I can think about them being generous, but it's nowhere near enough. I feel like there's so many instances in which they've been generous to me, and it's just the fact that like I'm like, oh, can I get some food or something? It'll just like it all adds up, man. It really all adds up.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'd say the same thing. Because I mean, when I was little, we didn't really have that much money. So during Christmas, like I'd always ask for like, I'd always see my cousins and friends, with a bunch of, get a bunch of gifts for Christmas, and I'd always ask my parents, why can't I get an iPad? Because my cousins always had one. They were iPad kids. Why can't I get an iPad? Why can't I get a Nerf gun? And they were like, oh, I'm sorry, mijo, like we can't, ahorita no. We're like, maybe later when we have more money. And then, it'd be Christmas, and I'd open my gifts, and it would be an iPad and a Nerf gun.
Oh yeah, right now I'm getting goosebumps thinking about that too, man.
I don't know. That's something that I wanted, like my parents for. Very generous.
Yeah.
I feel like even sometimes the worst of parents are so generous. Like, they'll give their kids all when they have nothing.
So Ashley, thank you for joining us on episode 7, part 4 of the Perfection is Fake podcast. Is there any advice you'd like to leave the listeners with about generosity?
Generosity is not out of obligation. It's out of the kindness of your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Amen. Thank you for joining us today, Ashley. And make sure to tune in the following Friday for episode 8, part 1. Thank you. Bye.